What's up, everyone? Bashar Kittu here with BJK University, coming to you with episode number 6. It's incredible to even think about that. This is episode number 6. As promised, we have actually come up with a name to our podcast, which is incredible. So after hundreds of, names that you guys have suggested, and by the way, thank you very much for playing full out, for helping us out on this journey, on this quest to finding a name, we have come up with the name Impact Hour, the Impact Hour podcast, which was suggested to us by Eric Lico. We'll put his name in the on the screen. He'll be winning $1,000 in cash. As promised, we'll be sending that out to him here shortly. But just wanted to say, it's been such a privilege to be providing some type of content and value to you guys, because at the end of the day, this is the reason why we created this, is, all the lessons that we have learned over the years, all the things that we have came across. I just wanted to kind of put them all, package them together, and give them to you. So one thing that we have decided to do is every week we have, a team that goes through all the YouTube comments and comments on Instagram and everywhere else, and they draw for us questions that you guys post in the comments. And this is how we're going to pretty much run this podcast, at least for the next short while, is we're going to look at questions that you guys have, dropped in the comments, and we're going to take those and we're going to answer them, because, again, this is just our way to sharing knowledge with you guys. But at the end of the day, it's all about, we want to make sure that we share, the value with you guys. So, Aaron, what's up, buddy? Episode number 6, man. Holy shit.
Yeah, this is good times, man. Loving the journey. Impact Hour. Fucking rights it is.
So what do you, because I know that we came up with a whole bunch of, with a whole bunch of names, but then, like, we kind of had, like, the team decide on the name, and then they kind of, dropped in Impact Hour, and they really loved it. Well, what do you think that is? What's going on there?
Well, BJK is all about impact, man. The reason we went with Impact Hour, and the reason that our team was pushing Impact Hour in the comments, was because everybody's on the journey to make an impact, 1 million lives at a time. Make a ripple in this fucking world in a positive way with integrity. That's why Impact Hour is such a great name. It encompasses what the BJKU community is all about.
Yes. All right. So what do you think of this kind of like taking questions from the comments and answering our community's questions, and then just kind of like expanding on those? Is that, I know we kind of settled on that. You like that direction, right?
Man, taking questions from the community, I think, is the best thing we could possibly do, because, like, you and I, when we were starting out, we had lots of questions about how to start a business, how to go online, how to transition and do certain things. And it's just great to be able to see questions from people who were where you are or are where you were, vice versa, and be able to give that feedback and close that loop for them. So it's a great thing. I love it, and I'm just excited about it, man.
Absolutely. All right, so let's get to questions and start answering them. So right at the top, the first thing is leverage. Did you raise capital to finance your online business, or how do you raise capital to finance your online business? What are some thoughts you have?
Well, when it comes to raising capital for your online business, it's like you got to get fucking resourceful. As an entrepreneur, you need to own your resourcefulness. Nobody's coming to do it for you. No one's coming to save you. You have to find a way to make it happen, whether that's your money, other people's money, loans, selling shit, garage sale. You got to do whatever it takes. If you want to make it in this world, especially as an entrepreneur, you have to get resourceful.
I love that. And another thing that it says here, how to start a business when you're broke. It's very interesting, because I remember when I first started, I was $150,000 in debt. And literally, I had already cashed out everything that I could to getting loans, to borrowing money, to whatever, because I had no credit. I had already borrowed all the money that I could borrow. And so I did not only start when I was broke, but I was $150,000 in debt. So I guess these are 3 things that, if you're watching and you're broke and you want to start a business, there are 3 things for you that you can actually start today and start any business, whether if it's Amazon or anything else. For me personally, number 1 is get a vehicle. Figure out a vehicle. What's the vehicle that you want to get on, right? For me, it was Amazon FBA. What's the vehicle that doesn't have a ceiling, but it's like the more you put into it, the more you get out of it, right? No ceiling. So if you have a job, it might be a little difficult, but, if you're starting a business or whatever, that would be perfect. The side hustle, right? The second thing is find a blueprint, right? Find a blueprint that's going to help you on that vehicle that's going to actually get you where you're trying to go. Because what the blueprint does, it accelerates the learning curve. It gets you, it helps you avoid all the mistakes, and you get to like jump into the thing that you're trying to do. And then the third thing is find money. And for me, finding money is OPM, other people's money. And I want to hear from you more, Aaron, about that. But other people's money for me changed the game for me, because I was raised with the mindset of you don't borrow money, don't partner up with people. And once I came out of that like mindset shift, and I looked at like, Silicon Valley companies and all the billion-dollar companies in the world, it's like, well, there's a reason why they go public, because they want to use other people's money to grow, right? And that's just like, it's not a non-ethical way to do it. We all use other people's money with our credit cards. We borrow money from banks to go to school. It's like, well, why not use that money to start a business? What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, man. On the topic of other people's money, I read a book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I'm sure a lot of you have read that book out there. That book changed my fucking life. Sitting by the pool in Bali, working in a hotel, I told my wife, I said, listen, there's other ways to go about building a business. There's this thing called OPM. And, you look at credit cards, you look at banks, you look at other big businesses, and you realize none of them are using their own fucking money. They're all using other people's money. So we'd be stupid not to learn the way to do that. And there's lots of ways to do it. Credit card is one. Bringing on partners is another one. Getting loans from various places. Giving people equity, right? Like there's lots of ways to do it. You can get creative, but you have to also understand that at the end of the day, you have to provide some value for that. OPM does not mean free money from the sky. It means you got to get to fucking work and pay that back with interest. But if you believe in yourself and you believe in the product and the thing you're producing, you're going to do well, and you can do it with other people's money.
That's awesome.
Sorry, I was going to say, you used OPM at the beginning of your journey, right?
Oh, dude, I mean, that's how I started. I borrowed $5,000 from my now mother-in-law. She was my girlfriend's mom at the time. I launched first couple products is in that. I borrowed money from my girlfriend at the time, now my wife, to start my Amazon business and invest in a course. And that's the thing that a lot of people, I think, miss out on, is that they look at their bank account and they want to start a business with a budget. But that's literally the last thing you want to do, is starting a business with a budget. You want to look at what does the business need and ask the right questions. Where do I get that money from, right? Because that money's literally everywhere. You could go anywhere you want and get the money. $10,000, usually that's what we suggest people starting, is $10,000. People have that money people all around you. I don't care where you live. If you live in Pakistan and India and Afghanistan, if you live in Iraq, if you live in America, anywhere you live, there's $10,000 around you. Someone has that $10,000, and it would be freaking crazy not to invest with you. But that's what you need. You need a vehicle, and you need a blueprint, so that way you can go to the investor and say, hey, I've got this way. This is how I'm going to make you money. This is how I'm going to, this is when I'm going to, because an investor is going to say, how much am I going to get a return on my investment? How long is it going to take for me to get my money back? And so if you say, I don't know shit, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't have someone guiding me, they'll tell you to go fuck yourself. But that's why having a vehicle, having a blueprint are very important.
Yeah. Dude, having a vehicle and having a blueprint when you're using OPM or using your own damn money for that fucking matter, it's a must. It's not a should, it's a must. And if you're using OPM, if you're gathering funds to make this happen, and you absolutely can do it. You did it when you were hundreds of K in debt. I did it with like 5K in the bank, something less than that even. It's like when you don't have the money and you go find the money, you better make damn sure that you do have a blueprint to follow, that you have a community of people supporting you, got some sort of mentorship, people that have walked the path before you that can show you how it's done to ensure a good chance at success. You still got to do the fucking work, but you better be damn sure you have a good group of people around you before you start taking OPM. But OPM is everywhere. You just got to get resourceful and believe in yourself.
Yes, absolutely, man. Believing in yourself. It all starts with your mindset. The second thing that I want to get into is AI. So we have some questions. And by the way, guys, I'm just reading questions that we got in the comments. So if you guys have any questions, be sure to drop them in the comments, because we read every single comment that gets dropped. And if this is your first time watching this podcast, if you've never, came across this channel or whatever, be sure to share this with someone that you care about, someone that is starting a business, someone that maybe isn't very resourceful that you believe that can probably, benefit from listening to this. So be sure to guys subscribe and share this with someone. All right, so another question that we got was about AI. This is a very, I think, controversial and very important topic that many people have been thinking about. So AI, what are your thoughts about AI? Do you think it's a good or a bad thing for humanity? I want to hear your thoughts, and I have some thoughts about this.
Fuck. Well, when it comes to AI, it's just this simple. Get on board or be fucking taken over by the robots. It's that fucking easy. Either get on board and figure out how to run the fucking robots, be that guy, or get taken out by the robots. We see all sorts of people losing their jobs thanks to AI. It's like, yeah, no shit. But who's going to run the AI? Who's going to do the coding? Who's going to keep up with the maintenance of the AI, right? That's where you want to be looking, and that's a very exciting thing. I was just driving through Italy the other day, and I saw a backhoe doing some work on the road. And I looked at the backhoe, and I saw a fat guy sitting in this backhoe with some levers, and he was building some shit. And I was like, dude, that is the machine from like 50 years ago that came in the Industrial Revolution and took over. And people were like, oh my God, we're going to lose our jobs shoveling stuff. No, dude, we made a bunch of mechanics and people who had to learn how to drive that shit. It's exactly the same with AI now. Get on board or get eaten alive. What do you think about AI?
Dude, it's exactly what he just said. It's like when Uber came out and people, taxi drivers started kind of going crazy. When Airbnb came out and said, hotels are going to go out of business or whatever, all it is, like Tony Robbins says, all business is innovation and marketing. So you've innovated and you're marketing it. You're making people's lives easier, right? Like, for example, we look at our marketing team and we have, we used to have a bunch of copywriters, and we realized we can have one copywriter that does the job of like 3 or 4, Now, the others potentially lost their jobs with us, yes, but they can go and become more valuable to other companies. The one copywriter can become more valuable to 3, 4 companies at the same time, doing the same amount of work, spending the same amount of hours, and getting paid 3, 4, 5 times more, right? Because now they can do so much more with, say, ChatGPT. There was all these tools that, what is it called? 11 Labs. The one with the sound. You upload your voice or whatever. You read a script, you upload it, it clones your voice, and anyone can go type stuff. Like, I know Adam from our team was like going crazy about it and like creating all these things. And all technology does, whether AI or any other technology, it enhances the experience of the humankind. It makes our experiences better. So one question that I see here as well on that topic is, should we be worried about, or what should we be worried about? And if I was you, I would look at my skill level in the marketplace and say, how valuable am I to the marketplace? And if you are on the tip of, well, I'm either valuable or if I'm not, you need to acquire a higher level of skill in order for you to be more valuable, because the less valuable you are, the quicker you're going to be out of a job, right? It's like truck drivers. Look, Elon is going to make trucks that drive by themselves here pretty soon happen, right? Yeah. If you're a truck driver, your fucking job is on the line here any second. Yeah. So it's like, instead of crying about it, how the fuck can you be more valuable to the marketplace? How can you be more valuable to economy so that way you can, number one, improve your lifestyle, and number two, all innovation does is it forces people out of their comfort zone, and those that are winners thrive, and those that that are just victims, they'll kind of end up in the corner crying. So you just have to decide which one of the two you want to play.
Yeah, man, totally. When you're looking at AI, you're talking about value and increasing your value via a high-income skill like managing AI, right? We talk about our team. They are doubling down on learning fucking AI right now, heavily, right? And so it's like someone's at home. They're thinking, well, how can I make more money from home? It's like, dude, how many fucking high-income skills do you have that you can leverage on the internet right now? Everyone says, oh, the internet's the future. It's like, no, dude, the internet was the past. We're in the internet now. The future is AI, bro. You missed the fucking beginning of the internet.
Yep.
So if you're sitting at home with no high-income skill online, what the fuck are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? And if you want to go to the next level, you better get on the AI train. We use AI for all sorts of shit now. And we're like elementary AI users, but we're in that shit because we see it as the future. You know what I mean? So, you know, to me, it's so obvious, but it's like anything in life. Some people will look at the negative and see only fear, right? Some people will look at AI and be fearful of it. They'll see the negatives. They'll feel like it's taking from them. Other people will look at AI and they'll see the positives. They'll be like, oh my God, I can leverage that to my benefit. I can use that to become better. I can use this to provide more value to more people and make more money or whatever you want to do with it. So there's two ways to look at it. It's the same as life. It's no fucking different. AI, make a choice. Are you scared of it? You're going to run away from it? Or are you going to embrace it and leverage it?
It's just like anything, right? Whatever you focus on expands. So you just got to decide what you focus on. Yeah. All right. And kind of to shift gears a little bit, another question that I see here, this is kind of going into the Amazon, space. What advice would you give to someone just starting out as an Amazon seller or any entrepreneur in general? What's your top 2 or 3 things? I know I have my own stuff.
Anyone who wants to become an entrepreneur, whether it's online or offline, whether it's Amazon or anything else, the number one thing you need to do is get out of your own fucking way and take action. It's never going to be perfect. It's never going to feel right. You're always going to be scared. The number one thing you need to do, in my opinion, is get with someone who's done it before, learn from them, and start putting one foot in front of the other and fail fast. Fuck it up as quickly as you fucking can, recover and keep it moving. That's the number one thing.
That's awesome. I love that. For me, I always say that it's important that whatever it is you're trying to do, and it goes back to kind of what you said earlier, anything you're trying to do, someone else has done it before you. So you want to tap into to their footsteps and what they've done. But what you want to get out of it is the not to do's more than how to do's, right? Because the how to do's are everywhere. The not to do's, only limited people are actually willing to share them because they're not so glamorous, right? It's if someone has, if someone has done something, let's just take Amazon. If you've launched, 5 products that actually became successful, what they will focus on is the 5 products that were successful. They won't tell you about the 10 other products that were unsuccessful and the thousands of dollars they wasted or they spent or whatever, right? Because it's not so glamorous. So for me, what I've realized is from my mentors, the biggest thing that I've learned is the what not to do's more than the how to do's. So that would be the first thing is. And then the second thing is, and we kind of covered it earlier, never start a business on a budget. Like literally, I need to make this a billboard and put it on freeways like everywhere, all over the world.
All over fucking Miami. Mustache and fucking billboards.
Literally, never start a business on a budget. And I see this happen all the fucking time. People say, well, you're saying that you need $10,000 to start an Amazon FBA business, but I only have $2,000. I only make $500 a month. I live in India. I do this. I'm like, sure, I get that. But picture me 8 years ago with $150,000 in debt. If I had thought those same thoughts, I would have never gone anywhere. But that's where you kind of need to, like, as you said, get out of your own way and then start looking at, like, okay, how the fuck did Mark Zuckerberg build almost $1 trillion company right now, right, when he was just a kid in school? Well, you can make the argument of, well, he was a smart kid and he went to Harvard and he did all this. Yeah, sure, but how did he make it happen, bro? He got together. He got resourceful, and he started something. And then from there, he realized that, you know what? There's all these rich assholes that I can go tap into, and I can start bringing on as investors into my company, and I can take and give some, small pieces of my company, like what me and you have done with school. Sam Ovens came out and said, hey, guys, I want to scale school. Consulting.com is what brings me money so I can invest in school, but I don't have time to invest in consulting.com. I want to sell this. I want to just focus on school, but I won't have anywhere that's going to feed me money anymore. How the fuck am I going to do this? Are you guys willing to invest with me? Invest with me. I'll take your money. I'll put it in school and I'll keep scaling it. And we said, fuck yeah, sign me up, right?
Yeah, take it.
So there we go. So it's like, never look at a business or at your bank account and start a business that way. Look at what the business requires and then go about it that way. Any other thoughts here?
Well, just like you starting a business, multi-six figures in debt, you hear people say, I can't do it. I only make X a month. I've only saved up this much a month. It's all limiting beliefs.
Yes.
So what's a limiting belief? It's a belief that you have that is limiting your ability to take action. We all have them, but there is a formula to break them. Number one, is there a slight possibility, maybe, just maybe, slight possibility that you could do it? Yes. The answer is always fucking yes. Secondly, has anybody come before you with your circumstances or even worse and fucking pulled it off? Yes. Well, right there you go. Number three, list 20 fucking ideas you have of how you could actually make this happen. How can you get OPM? By the time you get to about the 10th or 15th on the list, you're going to start opening some doors in your mind, and it's going to show up. Do this exercise anytime you're struggling with a limiting belief, and you'll break through it. But most people get stuck at I can't.
Yes.
You can, but you got to do the work here, and then you got to put one foot in front of the other.
That's right. Absolutely, man. 100% agree with you. Why is Amazon FBA your vehicle of choice?
Yeah, why did you choose Amazon out of all the different ways when you started, man? Like, for me, I know I tried a million fucking things, but like, why Amazon with you? What the fuck is the deal? Like, Bezos, you want to go to space with him? You like his shaved head? What's up with Amazon?
You know what's interesting is, and I just realized this recently, is since I was a little kid, my favorite color was always orange.
Oh,
And so maybe that's why. I don't know. It was the orange color, it was attractive.
Yeah.
So I did try a lot of things. I tried affiliate marketing a little bit. I tried trading stocks. I tried real estate wholesaling. I tried I got into crypto a little bit, lost some money there. I must have tried like 2 or 3 other things. And then Amazon stuck with me for a few things. Number one, and this was the first stat that I saw that like blew my mind. 53% of all online sales happen on Amazon. All online sales. All fucking online sales, bro. 53%, right?
Dope.
Number two, over 120 million yearly subscribers spending between $1,200 to $1,700 per year on Amazon. I don't even know what the fuck that number is. I haven't found a calculator that goes that big, right?
Like a trillion, trillion, bazillion, gajillion dollars worth of money.
Exactly. Looking at their trajectory since the beginning of Amazon until now, they've consistently grown as a company 20 to 25% year over year, over year, and that's not easy to do, as we've seen. Right now, trying to grow BJK University at that level. When it's small, it's like, yeah, we 10x'd our company in 1 year, but it's like, okay, when you're talking about hundreds of billions of dollars, can you continue to do that profitably, right? The other thing was the fact that they are so customer satisfaction centric. They care about the end user. It's all about, how do I deliver value to the end user? Another thing was the fact that it's like this whole, we've talked about this in previous podcasts, it's this whole idea of intrapreneurship, not entrepreneurship, intrapreneurship. I knew that I can become an intrapreneur. I never consider myself as a smart person. I'm not an inventor. I would have maybe become a billionaire by now. But I knew that, if I work hard, that is something that I knew about myself. I fucking work hard. It's like, all right, if I work hard, I knew I can come in and plug into a system that already works and become an intrapreneur within the Amazon ecosystem. They do shipping for me. They do customer service for me. They do fucking fulfillment for me. I don't got to talk to customers. I don't got to do shit. I did not have the prettiest record. I didn't have credit score. I fucking had, a couple misdemeanors on my record, so no motherfucker was gonna hire me or give me loans or any of that. They didn't look at my back, they didn't do a background check. In
No.
our community, dude, we have a few felons in there, and it's like, no judgments here, but ain't no motherfucker hiring you,
No. But they're smashing their own shit. They're
exactly. Amazon does not do background checks. They don't discriminate. Black, white, Christian, Muslim, I don't give a fuck where you come from. Go for it.
Yeah. Dude, I know. That's the beautiful thing, right? It doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, what you're doing. That's what I like about business, and especially, for example, Amazon is a great example of this because you're really behind the scene.
Yes.
Right? Like, nobody knows who you are or what you do behind that scene, behind that storefront. Right? So it's really about how well did you set up your business? Did you follow the steps? Did you execute correctly? Did you do good research? That's why at the blueprint that we provide and the support we have, it's like, did you follow those steps precisely? Because if so, you're probably going to do pretty fucking well, but you can be faceless and nameless all you want, right? A lot of people love that. My wife is a great example of this, right? She has a store. She built it with her brother and her mom, right? It's a family business. It's fucking cool. They love it. They enjoy it. They don't want to be on the internet. They don't do Instagram and shit like at all. And they're just loving building a business behind the scenes, and it's providing what they need. Amazon's cool like that,
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Let me ask you a question, man. When people are coming into Amazon, or let's say entrepreneurship in general, but we could stay on the Amazon, what are some of the big mistakes you see when people are starting their business? What are the do nots?
I mean, I can tell you my do nots. And it's like we've already talked about this few times just in the last 20 minutes here. But it's the same thing that you see people do all the time, is allowing their ego to get in the way. And how that manifests is not getting advice from the right people, not getting the right advice, and even if they do, not really going and actually going for it and really asking the right questions. Because I remember for me, when it first happened, it was the way it manifested in my restaurant business was I would watch some fucking, TV reality show. And it was because I enjoyed watching it, not because I was there to listen and shit and then thinking that I know how to do it. And then when someone would come to me in person, say, hey, let's partner up. I've ran restaurants before. I know how to help you. My answer was always go fuck yourself. I've done, I could do this. You know what I mean? And then the same thing with Amazon. When I went on, there was a few kids running around with Lamborghinis, fucking 18-year-olds. And I was a 25-year-old seasoned entrepreneur at 25. My fucking brain hadn't even developed by then. And I was like, well, fuck them. If they can do it, I can do it. I don't need their advice. I don't need their help. I'm going to figure this out. I've had a business where I was managing 10, 15 freaking employees in one freaking shift. What the hell does this dumbass know? You know what I mean? And so all these thoughts, dude, until now, there is people that we follow and we admire. Sometimes my ego gets in the way of well, fuck this guy. I don't need to listen to him, especially people that are a lot more financially accomplished and are around my age. I get very inside, I can sense my ego. And it takes a minute for me to recognize it, because that's the thing, is you got to recognize it and then say, I like you, but stay the fuck away from me right now. I need to listen and learn. So I truly believe that ego can get in the way, and that can manifest in not asking the right questions, not asking questions at all, and then therefore fucking up your situation.
Totally. So you mentioned that ego can get in the way when people are starting a business or when they're learning something new like Amazon. Let me ask you this, man. You talk about your ego getting in the way, and it has gotten in the way before, but now you can recognize it and move it to the side. And we know that ego is one of the biggest problems when people are starting an Amazon business. So how have you mastered your ego to be able to recognize it and put it aside? How do you do that?
So here's the thing. It's first of all, it's a work in progress. So I'm not going to say that I'm perfect. I'm still working on it, right? But it's a lot better than before.
This is proof of it working right now.
Yeah.
If the ego was stepping in right there, you'd be like, yeah, dude, I'm the fucking man. I set you up right there and you don't even know it, huh? I went for it. I was like, let's see if he hooks on that masterpiece piece. And you fucking didn't. That's great. Good shit. I love it. All right.
So I think it's you gotta
The fucking trap, man. I failed.
yeah,
I failed. All right.
you just gotta understand that it's a work in progress. Like you're a student of like you're always going to be a student for the rest
Yeah.
of your life. The minute that you believe that you know it all and you figured it out, that's when you've like truly like you're doomed. You're it's
Fuck.
just a matter of time. But it's about awareness and then looking back and then learning from your mistakes. Again, and this is where it comes down to like, how do you learn from the what to not to do's? Then it's more like they're more important than what to do's. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So it's like I went back and I looked at like my restaurant, especially after it happened to me twice. I looked at my restaurant and then I looked at the first, few product launches and I was like, what can I learn from this? Like
Yeah.
there is about 4 years there, hundreds of thousands of dollars lost. It's like, there's got to be something I can learn from this. And that's when I was like, I kept on seeing the same pattern come up. And that was not listening to people, not taking advice. It's like, looking back at it, it's like, why didn't I ask questions here? Why didn't I do this? And then as I kept on doing that, I just realized that the ego was coming in the way, And so now the first thing that I do, and something that maybe we don't talk about as much as we should, is over the last 6, 7, 8 months, BJK University has been kind of on a downturn, and now we're turning things around, and we're kind of, things are starting to look up again. But one thing that I've done is that in my notes, I literally have I have a note that says, lessons learned from BJKU downturn. And I've broken it down into personal and business. What are some things that I've done in my personal life that I could have done better? What are some things that I did in business that I could have done better, right? Decisions, whatever. And I just go back and I reflect. So to answer your question, I think reflection is probably the thing that I'm looking for, is reflecting on the bad times, because there's a ton of lessons they can learn from there.
Totally, dude. I would agree with you that reflection is the number one way to bring awareness to your situation, whether it's business or personal. Reflection is everything. It's like, why do we even have a fucking memory? Like, why do we have a memory, dude? It's not so they can remember what flavor ice cream we like or like a joyful time we had with our wife. We have a memory so that we can remember fucking lessons so we don't fuck it up again.
Yes.
Right? So if you can take notes of your lessons, jot them down, you will not repeat them. If you won't repeat them, you'll incrementally get better at everything you do in life.
Yes.
Right? So awareness comes from reflection, and reflection comes from awareness of being able to reflect and needing to reflect.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, well, we can talk about business cycles. I think that's an important thing for the viewers to understand. I saw some comments about that. People were kind of mentioning, I saw a couple of people say like, it goes up, it goes down. How do you manage that? As entrepreneurs, you're going to have cycles that go up, down, sideways for a while. You're going to have manage your emotions. You have to manage people. You have to manage expectations. How have you dealt with that running a 8-figure company?
One time I watched a video by Grant Cardone, and he said success to people looks like this, up and down, where success needs to look like that. And I was like, I don't know about that, bro. I don't know how realistic that is,
We're fucking going for this, man. We're going for this.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Over time, it needs to look like that if you were to draw a line, right? But do understand, it's not always going to be like this. It is going to be like that, but the trajectory should look like this, going up, right?
Yeah.
I read Elon's book. It's just called Elon Musk. He didn't write it. This guy named Ashley, the author, wrote it, and he spent a lot of time with Elon. And the thing that I noticed is literally, like, this was only 2012 or 2014, not that long ago. Tesla had been around for a while. Tesla was on the brink of bankruptcy. And Elon was this far from literally just losing it all. He was going to lose all of his companies, including SpaceX and Tesla, which he had invested all of his earnings from PayPal into, right? He made $180 million. He put in 100 in SpaceX, 70 in Tesla, 10 in Solar City. And he was literally, this is why his previous marriage fell apart, was because he couldn't even make payroll. And it literally it was like a miracle that it happened. His contract with the U.S. government had to go through for him to be able to make payroll and stuff like that. All right, so it had some technical difficulties. We're back online. Don't even know where the last one ended. Needed to figure out what's happening here. But hey,
Maybe get some better AI.
this is what happens when you're an entrepreneur, man. You kind of jump off the cliff and build the plane as you're going, right? And yeah, a lot of people are trying to figure out they're ready for the perfect moment for everything to fall perfectly before they jump on and do everything, right?
That shit'll never happen, man. There's
Never
no such
happen.
thing as the perfect moment, ever.
That's right.
You just gotta jump.
Just got to jump.
Yeah.
All right. So here's a question. There's got to be some of this. This is kind of fun. I know it's fun for me. What was your first job? And again, guys, if you're watching this, we're literally, pulling, like, I'm on my phone. There's a list, and we're pulling questions from the comments. So if you guys want us to answer your question, drop them in the comments. So that's all we're doing. So Aaron, what was your first job?
Well, I basically had two first jobs. And the reason I had two first jobs was because the first time I actually worked and earned money for myself was summers in college.
Okay.
I didn't work through high schools or anything like that. I was chasing the world dream of being an alpine ski racer, so I didn't work. I was too busy being an athlete. In college, in the summers, I had two summer jobs that I worked back to back every fucking day, my ass off. In the morning, I was a fly fishing guide. I'd get up at 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning. I'd go pick up the people. I'd take them fishing. I'd drop them off. I'd take a second person. So I'd take two groups, drop them off. I'd go home, have some lunch, take a small snooze, and then I'd go to my evening job where I was the meat cook at a restaurant called Earl's in Whistler.
Okay.
Earl's in Whistler. Shit was legendary. And so it was a steakhouse, and I was the chef there, line chef. So fishing in the day, cooking at night, did that shit in the summer during college, made pretty good money, met a lot of cool people, learned a lot of things, partied a ton in Whistler. Fucking perfect, man. What was your first job?
McDonald's.
Oh, shit. Did you go to the McDonald's University?
Yeah. I sure did, buddy. We lived in Detroit first year, 2006. I arrived to America on 06.
Oh, shit.
The fucking Devil's Day.
Damn,
and,
dude.
My first job, I was 16 years old. I worked at McDonald's. From there, we went to San Diego in 2007. Again, went to McDonald's, worked there. So in total, I probably worked at McDonald's for about 2 years. And then literally up until 2015, so the first 10 years of my life, I worked in restaurants.
Man.
My first two businesses were restaurants. I've had 5 or 6 jobs, all were in restaurants. And this is why in my mind, it was like, that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to be in hospitality. I'm going to have like a hospitality group. We're going to have nightclubs. We're going to have bars. We're going to have restaurants. Like, that's what I thought I was meant to do in my life, and completely turned to a different thing, So that was interesting. But restaurant, McDonald's, yeah.
McDonald's. What were some of the lessons you learned from McDonald's? Because those guys, I mean, we know fucking McDonald's, billions and billions and billions of burgers later. Like, what the fuck are they doing right?
Systems, processes, step by step, like, I don't know what the stat is, but I bet you more than 50 to maybe even 70% of their employees are probably under 22, 23, teenagers mostly. As in America, I don't know, I think I'm right, but at 16, I think can get a job, like legally. By 18, you can get a full-time job. So from 16 to 18, those 2 years, you can only work part-time. So I was only working part-time. I was working 20 hours. So 2 things I learned from there. Number 1, discipline, and like being on time, showing up, following orders. I think that's really important, especially for a teenager, a completely new culture. And number 2, I learned how to manage my money, because that was the only source of income that I had, and no one else was providing me money. So I actually was able to save up a good amount of money, that I later blew in the first 2 months being in San Diego partying and renting boats and shit every weekend with
Fucking
my
right, rock
with
star.
my
that shit.
cousins. Yeah.
Yeah,
But I learned managing money and I learned discipline, just showing up and stuff like that. What are some lessons
Boom.
you learned in your first couple jobs?
Fuck, a lot of lessons, man. But firstly, I gotta say, you can do it too. Kids at home, you heard it here, man. McDonald's to multimillionaire. The fuck does that tell you? If you can't do it, you have no fucking excuses.
Yeah.
Came from a foreign land, didn't speak the language, started at McDonald's. I can almost guarantee you 9 out of 10 people watching us right now had a better start than you as far as the setup they had in America when they landed here or were born here. I'm very certain of that. I know I fucking did. You know what I mean? So kudos, man. That's gold. When I had my first couple of jobs, when I was a cook and a fly fishing guide, I learned a few pretty important lessons that served me very well until this day. One was providing value. So when I was a fly fishing guide, not only did I pick people up and take them fishing, that was my job, I would do extra. So I would show up with a cooler full of water, beers, sandwiches, donuts, Tim Hortons. I would have a cooler of food. That was not part of my job. I didn't have to do that.
Nice.
But I knew that these people were coming to the bush with me for 3 hours. They're going to get fucking hungry. They probably didn't think of anything because they're from the city. And I'm going to give them some donuts and some sandwiches, and they're going to fucking tip me out some Benjamins at the end of it.
Nice.
And I knew that. And it worked every fucking time. And I enjoyed it because they said thank you.
Yes.
Because I provided value above and beyond. I went the extra mile.
Yes.
That's one massive lesson I learned from fishing.
Yes.
From cooking, when I was a line chef at Earl's, I was cooking steaks. I learned the fact
You
that
learned how to eat steaks.
well, I learned how to fucking eat steaks. That's for sure. Till this day, it serves me well. But one thing I learned is that, like, I couldn't multitask very well. And I don't think we are good multitaskers in general. I don't think our mind is especially built for multitasking, especially men. I think women are better at it than men because they manage the family dynamic, the kids, all that kind of stuff. The men, I think we're supposed to be more focused. I couldn't fucking multitask in there. I can't tell you how many times I had a steak over here burning. I had chicken down here that was on fire. I had some pork chops over there that were raw. Sound like a pretty fucking shitty chef, right? But like, I would realize like, holy shit, I got too many things going on here and I can't focus. Like, let me just fucking cook the fillets to medium rare how they should be and serve it. You know, as soon as they throw other variables at me, my brain. So the lesson I learned there is focus. And this is something I learned from you as well. Focus.
Yes.
Singular focus on the thing you want, put your head into it, and fucking turn off every other distraction there is. Now, unfortunately, in a restaurant, I couldn't turn off the other distractions. I may have burned a couple pieces of chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So let's shift some gears here. When we were kind of looking at this, you said, "Hey, there's something I want to talk about," and that's I think it's a pretty controversial topic that, personally, in my personal life, there are two topics that I've always stayed away from, and everyone watching, we're not going in there. There's a reason why we are going to touch on it, but the two topics were always religion and politics. Those were the two things that, like, even when we were starting this podcast, I'm like, I don't really want to touch. I'm not very well educated. I'm not interested. But then you said, I want to talk about this thing. And I was like, I don't know if we should. But you said, no, but hear me out. And I think you've got a great point, especially as a Canadian, right? Someone that's sitting outside looking in that has kind of like a third person point of view that's not involved in the middle or not involved in the equation. So lead the conversation.
Yeah, man. So, I mean, we saw some comments. People were like, what do you guys think of politically this and that? Do you think politicians are helping the country? And so we're going to talk about Donald Trump. All right? Donald fucking Trump as president. Let's talk about it, man. I believe, okay, I'm a Canadian. I live in Europe. I've lived all over the world. So I've never lived in the States. But of course, like most people, I know the political scene in the States better than anywhere else because it's like the center stage of all the drama of the world. Right?
Yes.
Every fucking war, everything that happens, it's like, oh, the States has something to do with it, right? So we all know about the States. When it comes to Donald fucking Trump, I believe he is an asset to the country in a lot of ways. Probably hurts the country in some ways too. I'm not super educated on politics and his things he does in office, but I do know that he's an entrepreneur.
Mhm.
And an entrepreneur knows how to manage money and a budget for real. Politicians know how to spend money. Now, this is a
Interesting.
very simple, like, low-level sort of way of looking at it, but it's very fucking logical. A politician takes tax money and they spend it. They find ways to pay themselves and their friends and fucking blow all the money so that they can get more. That's literally all that they do, right? An entrepreneur uses OPM, uses resources, gets money, gets funds, and puts it to use to drive value and drive the equity of the thing that they're building up. So if you have someone like Trump who comes in, who's an entrepreneur, who's like, hey, I'm going to take the tax money and I'm going to fucking add value to the country in these different ways, or I'm going to put these policies in place against other countries that are fucking us over with tariffs and stuff so I can have a balance in the economics 101, supply and demand. He's just doing the basics. And so is he good or bad for the nation? I would say on the good side. If I was American, I'd fucking vote for him. I can tell you that. What do you think?
That's interesting. So I've never said this publicly again. I like to keep, I'm kind of like even nervous trying to fucking going into this topic,
We're going down the fucking shithole here with
Oh,
Trump.
like, oh,
Boy,
fuck,
heads
what
up.
have we done to ourselves here,
Oh man, it's the beginning of the end now. Yeah.
it goes downhill from here.
Yeah.
So up until 2020, when COVID hit, when I was like at home, had, obviously had a business to run, but I kind of got exposed to the whole media, shenanigans. That's when I actually learned what Democrats and Republicans were, what red and blue meant, what this did and what that did. I literally had no fucking clue. I had not voted until then. I had no, that's a lie. I had voted in 2016, first time ever. Didn't know who belonged to what party or what their policies were. And this is why I've always stayed away from politics, because I never, I've never even like registered to vote up until that point, and just never followed it and was never interested in it. My father, on the other side, completely opposite. My household, I grew up in a household that was very much into politics, and I just didn't find a need in it because it wasn't something that I can control. So 2016, sorry about that. 2016 came about, and I heard of this guy named Donald Trump. And it was the first year that I could actually vote because I became a citizen in 2014 or 2015 or something like that. And I started kind of looking at all the presidents prior and all the candidates and stuff like that. And one thing that I recognized about him that was different was the fact that he is an entrepreneur, just exactly as you said, right?
Oh.
And I was like, you know what? He's never ran an office. He's never held office before. He's either going to fuck it up, like completely fuck it up, or he's actually going to make a real change. And to me, I felt like, because I'm a U.S. citizen now and I've, this country has completely changed my life, I felt like I had a moral obligation to participate, Although one vote, it might not change a whole lot, but it's like I have a moral obligation to this country that I need to vote, Yeah. And so actually he got my vote. He got my vote in 2016. Now, some can argue that he completely fucked up the country. Some can argue that he's, completely made some incredible things, such as, the best market that we've ever had in the history of the country. Again, There are a lot of other things that I'm not educated on. This is why I stay away from this topic. But one thing that I recognized about him is the fact that he is an entrepreneur. And as you said, one thing that I can't remember, I don't know if it was Patrick Bet-David or someone else, or I think it was Joe Rogan. They said that the problem with politicians is that they've never built anything.
Exactly.
They've never built anything from scratch and gone through the pains and the hustles of building that thing and actually making it become something. And this is why, personally, I gave my vote to Donald Trump. Now, I've heard that Dwayne Johnson wants to fucking run for president in like 2030 or something like that. And I've heard that he's also going to run as a Democrat. And I'm like, I like Dwayne. I'll probably fucking vote for Dwayne. So I'm not, I'm not either or. I'm not registered as Republican or Democrat. But there are some things that I agree with Republicans on. There are some things that I agree with Democrats on. It just kind of depends on the time of the day. But I think it's really important that if you are going to get into, especially as an entrepreneur, one thing that I noticed when we were in Business Mastery, Tony's Business Mastery a few months ago,
Yeah.
one of the 8 things that he said can influence a business or impact a business, especially negatively, was government policies. So I think as an entrepreneur, it's important for you to know what's happening. Personally, I don't think it's important for you to get too fucking sucked in, because especially media outlets will feed you whatever the fuck they want to feed you. They're not going to necessarily feed you the truth.
No.
And so for me, I always stand behind, I focus on what I can control. My business I can control, my family I can control, my personal life I can control. What the fuck Donald Trump is going to do, what Biden is going to do, what Kamala Harris is going to do, whatever is going to do, I can't control. I'll give my vote and that's it, and I'll walk out, right?
Yeah.
And so I think it's really important for you to know what's happening, because the policies and your government, the taxes, the tax bills, this thing, that thing can impact your business. So I think it's important for you to understand what is happening, so that way if you need to pivot and shift, you know what to do. But personally, I still don't think that you should get sucked into the whole, politics game, which is why I personally, try to stay away from the conversation.
Yeah. When it comes to politics, becoming aware that both the media and the politicians are feeding you bullshit and a narrative to get you to think a certain way, to influence the way you make decisions. As soon as you fucking understand that, and I wish more people would, I wish people would wake the fuck up and understand that the media is just feeding you fear to get you to watch shit, right? Big Pharma is feeding you lies to get you to buy shit.
Yep.
It's like they are businesses. So if you can put that frame when it comes to politicians, and you can see both sides of the aisle, and it's like, okay, this party has some good thoughts over here, this party has some good thoughts over here, I'm kind of neutral in the middle, both seem pretty good in some ways, both seem totally fucked in some ways. But the thing that I look at from the outside as a Canadian/Italian living in Switzerland, nothing to do with the States, other than, managing business with you over there, I have my eye on the politics there for that exact reason. The policies that we have to be involved in, regardless if we want to or not. What are they doing with the tax money? How are the tax loops looking this year? What's happening that way? That's the shit you need to be looking at. But the second that you get pulled in to the drama of it, and you start thinking that it fucking matters and that they care what you truly think, they don't give a fuck what you think. They want you to view it and watch that watch time as long as possible. They're clickbaiting you. That's all they're fucking doing. So, when it comes to Trump, I love a lot of the stuff he talks about. I think he's a clown in a lot of ways. I think he's a great guy in a lot of ways. Like, I don't know him that fucking well. Come on, people who, Trump this is that, Trump is a bad guy, Trump's a great guy. Dude, you don't know the guy. You don't fucking know the guy. You don't know what he's really like.
Right.
Right? We don't know what anybody's really like, celebrities and shit. You got no fucking idea. So it's like, check out some of the backbone policies they're putting in place. And what I really look for is like, who's the less of the fucking evil? Who's the less evil? That's the guy that I'm leaning over towards. Not who's doing more good. Who's less fucking evil? And that's a really dark way to look at it, but it's true, man. You look at some of the shit that Biden and them pushed through this year. Again, not to go too deep in it, but like some of the shit that they pushed through, some of the bills that they pushed on people, that people don't even fucking know, that were buried. That's evil. Vladimir Putin, okay? You want to go fucking dark? Here it is. He pushed through a bill this year that says he's president until he dies.
Nice.
Everybody voted yes on it.
That's something fucking Saddam would have done.
Totally. Exactly. But everyone voted yes. Why did they vote yes?
Well, I don't know. Did they have another option?
Well, no, they don't. But he buried it in another bill, right?
Nice.
He fucking buried it on page 933. And it was like, COVID. Oh, by the way, president forever. So it's like, they're doing shady shit all over the fucking place. You can't control it. Get back to focusing on your business and focusing on your family and your own life.
Yes.
But be aware of it.
Yes.
That's all. Be aware of it.
Yes. Yeah, and I think it's important, as you said, it's important to be aware, but just make sure that you're not getting sucked in, because at the end of the day, it's like, there's only so much you can really get involved in. Like I was literally with my therapist this last weekend. We do intensives, quarterly intensives, and we always like I've known her for a year. We always do, and I don't know how and where and why. Like politics happened, and we started talking about it, and she's like, "Oh, don't even get me started about politics." And like, I saw her do this and like sit up, and I was like, "What the fuck just happened right now?" I'm like,
Yeah.
I just witnessed a side of you that I've never witnessed, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to fucking go there. She's like, I don't know if you want to go there. I'm like, nope, keep it professional. Fuck all that. Not a topic I'm interested in, But it's like everyone has an opinion, and the one thing that it's kind of like and this is why these are the two things that I stay away from: religion and politics, because people create an opinion and they get fucking married to it. Like they have a thumbprint with their fucking blood, and it's like, even if motherfucker is out there killing people left and right, nope, I support him.
Yeah.
And I think this is where like, again, this is not just to kind of keep it about politics, but just anything in life. You need to be able to like have a healthy debate with people and listen in to what they're talking about and try to see different points of views, because all of us have what's the word?
Perspectives.
No, all of us have blind spots, right?
Yeah.
All of us have blind spots, and the only way that we become aware of these blind spots is when we are willing to allow other perspectives, other insights come through, and having an open mind, And this is kind of one of the reasons that, like, I'm like, dude, if I was a citizen when Obama was running, I would have probably voted for him. He's a fucking Democrat. Whatever. I like the guy. He's cool. I still think he's a fucking cool president. I don't know what the fuck, I don't necessarily know what policies or whatever he had because, again, I was just not involved. I like Trump. I think he's a big-ass fucking troll, and I think he's got a big-ass mouth, which is why he's gotten himself into the kind of shit he's gotten himself into,
He's the king troll of all trolls, man.
He just doesn't know how to shut the fuck up. It's like, can you imagine this guy? Like, I could almost see him as a big-ass bully in high school.
Big time, massive, and he's tall, too.
Yeah, I could definitely see him as a big-ass fucking bully, and I don't know if I would have wanted to be his fucking best friend in high school, But it's like again, I kind of kept that aside, and I said, okay, yes, people say he had a bunch of money come to him from his dad, but it's like, yeah, he took a couple $1 million and turned into a few billion, right?
Yeah,
he's claimed bankruptcy a few times, but still look at where he is. So this is where you just kind of need to be able to look through and say, okay, this is what this guy stands for. This is what that guy stands for. I understand. Can I take good here? Can I take good there? Can we combine in the middle? Can we kind of, and I think this is kind of where, like, especially now what's happened with America is we've lost the middle. People have gone completely this way, completely have gone that way. With that said, completely changing the fucking subject, because I don't want to stay here forever, because we can go into a crazy-ass rabbit hole that I don't want to necessarily go into.
Okay.
Here's a question, funny question. We'll probably end the podcast with this. By the way, guys, again, if you're enjoying this, if you guys have any questions, drop them in the comments below. Would love to answer your questions. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure you guys are subscribing and also turning that bell, because you guys will get notified as we post content and stuff like that. We'll end it on a funny note. Here's a question. What's the most awkward or funniest way you got dumped or rejected?
Dude, I've never been dumped or rejected in my goddamn life. Get
Dude,
the fuck
I've been
out of
dumped
here.
before. I've got a funny ass story about that. Well, I don't know if it was funny, but yeah.
That's a good question. That's a fucking funny question, actually. I don't know off the top of my head, man. Yeah, I don't got one for you, dude. Let me ask you, what was the funniest or most awkward way you've been dumped or rejected in your life?
So, rejected like a bunch of times at clubs and shit, it was probably like because I was drunk, I was like, do you want to dance or something like that, like some stupid thing when I was like 18, 19. But dumped. This, now looking back at it was funny as fuck. But when it happened, dude, I got my fucking heart broken for like years. And actually, when I met Roweda, it took me a minute to open up for her, because I was like really heartbroken. So I had met this chick. Uh,
This is funny already.
yeah, I I met this Italian chick.
Okay.
In
Hey.
yeah. In at this hookah lounge called was it like a nightclub slash hookah lounge in San Diego called Area 51. It was like the
Nice.
hot place in fucking San Diego. This is 2011, 2012, something like that.
Crazy.
And you know, we started dating, and you know, like I thought she was everything I was looking for, blah blah. And then she turned out to have just come out of an abusive relationship. She lived in Boston. And she came out of an abusive relationship, and to her, I was like God, like the way I was treating her. And I had just came out of a relationship where I had walked all over my ex-girlfriend. I used to cheat on her. I mean, I was a terrible fucking boyfriend. Now looking, every time I think about it, I'm like, why the fuck was that girl with me?
Yeah.
But I was her first boyfriend, her first love. Like, she was just totally in love with me. So coming out of that relationship, I had promised myself that if I ever go into a relationship moving forward, I won't be in it unless I know for sure that I'm committed. I'll not cheat. I'll like treat her like she's everything for me. And so I went from this to that, and then I become a fucking rebound for this girl that just came out of an abusive relationship. I'm treating her like buying her Burberry fucking watches and shit, taking her out on dinners, like doing all this stuff. And one day I wake up, she's fucking gone. Thanksgiving, bro. Thanks fucking giving. She's gone, dipped on me, gone back to her fucking abusive ex-boyfriend, and just left me a message saying, you know, we can't be together, blah blah blah. And the night before, I had fucking given her a Burberry watch. So I was like, I was spent like $500. I'm like, can I at least get my fucking watch back? And she never fucking, you know, gave back my watch. So if you're watching, I need that fucking watch back. It's been 12 years.
Yeah, in the fucking watch bag. Yeah, Jesus. Holy
And
shit,
final
dude.
thoughts.
Final thoughts is you got smoked by a chick and you were the rebound. That's
yes,
funny.
I was a rebound. Hell yeah, I
you
can
were-
say that
you were the
that's
rebound.
happened.
There you
I
go.
can say I had my heart broken and recovered. So that's good.
Yeah, tick that one off and you got back up and found the love of your life, man. There you go. That's a true testament, right? It's the same as entrepreneurship, man. One step in front of the other, right? Dust yourself off, keep it fucking moving.
Yes.
Yeah. Final thoughts? No, man. I really enjoyed talking about the questions and stuff everybody had in the comments.
Yes.
That's awesome. I'd love to hear what people's first jobs were. That'd be cool to hear. Like,
There you
what's
go.
your first job? And are you still fucking in it? Do you want to be online? Like, what was your first job? And what's the reason, if possibly you're looking to go on Amazon or some other side hustle, like, why? Like, I know for me, I couldn't be a fly fishing guide my whole life. You know how many fucking times I got the lines tangled up with the people? Drove me fucking nuts, bro. Fly fishing, that kind. And I have these people who've never done it in their life trying to fucking fish and get all hung around their necks and shit, and I'm cutting it off and fucking disaster. And then I go to the nighttime job where I'm cooking steaks and like burning my eyebrows and shit. And it's like, you know, it's a stinky kitchen. You know that fucking world.
Yeah.
I had the pain of like, I want more in life. This is a short-term thing for me. So we want to hear what your short-term things were and why you want more in life. That's important. And, but yeah, I really enjoyed the comments. That's a cool little addition we got here, and I'm enjoying that aspect of it.
Awesome. Well, guys, thank you very much for watching. Again, drop your comments in the comment section below. Ask us questions. Would love to answer you guys' questions, and let us know how we can help you guys out. And, you know, hope to see you on the next one.
Boom.
Cheers.
Catch you later.